So, what's wrong with this code? Well, there isn't necessarily something wrong with it, because if we compile it, it works as intended. But we are kind of doing something that is pretty inefficient. So here we have a char array which contains hello, and then we are trying to concatenate world and some exclamation marks. Let's say S2 and S3 is unknown at compile time, right? Because it wouldn't really make sense if they were literal strings. We know at runtime we'll just put it here, right? But we are trying to concatenate S2 here, so world to hello. And what does strcat do? Well, strcat is going to need to find the null in S, so it's gonna call strlen for that. And once it finds the null, it copies the S2. And then at the second strcat, as we are passing S again, we are back at the H trying to find the null. So it's another call to strlen. And then once it finds the null, it copies the thing, right? So as you can see, we are kind of iterating over the string over and over. Every time we're doing a strcat, we are calling strlen for the whole string. And unfortunately, though strcat returns a pointer, it just returns what is passed here as the destination pointer. So if we try to compile it and run it, I guess let's remove this first. It's pointing to the start of the string. It's pointing to H, so it's kind of useless. Well, there are historical reasons for it, and the C standard probably can't just change it to something else. But in an ideal world, it would point to the end of the string, to the null, because if we're doing a strcat, maybe we want to know where the string ends. Maybe we want to know the strlen of the new string. So in an ideal world, a strcpy would probably be something like const char src, and while I guess we can just do this thing right, equals src plus plus, and then return. I think that's right. You can correct me on this, but ideally it would do something like this. So we are iterating over the characters, so we actually have a free strlen here, and by returning the null we can actually get the length of the string. And then also, this is pseudocode, don't actually use it or something. But strcat ideally would be something like I guess return or while tst plus plus tst. I think that's right. I don't know. or like this. I don't know which is faster, but and then my strcpy dst src. Like ideally it would do something like this, but that's not the reality, right? Because we already have a bunch of libraries and even things written in assembly that is written around strcpy, strcat, So this would be extremely slower because it's unoptimized code. We're not doing any multi-byte comparison. We're not doing any loop unrolling. So it's probably not a good idea to rewrite the standard library with, like, you know, unoptimized code, unless it's like specific to your needs. But ideally that would happen, but realistically you probably want to do something like, well, I guess in this case you can do memcpy length or size t length s length src, and then do memcpy. It's correct, right? Or actually I don't, wait, no, it's fine. And then we can return tst plus slen, right? Or actually you can do this, since memcpy returns the des string, right? And then in the strcat we can do tst plus equals was it strlen tst. So we're now at the null, and then we can do strcpy, right? Copy tst src, right? This is probably a bit better, though this strcat is going to be probably slower than the actual strcat, because strcat actually uses strcpy, not memcpy. And here we are doing a strlen and memcpy, so we are iterating over src, and then with the memcpy I'm iterating over the src again. But yeah, the upside is you have the new strlen. So if you're doing a strcat but you want to keep track of the length of the string, then you probably want to do memcpy instead. And if you're actually doing that, you probably should document your function so that no one that uses it will think that it behaves the same as the standard functions. So yeah, you should keep that in mind when using str functions. If you're tracking the length, or you know the length beforehand, then you probably want the mem functions instead.